Hello, Excelsior, and live from the ENNC, this is Nicholas Wiedemann and Silas Warrenbosch reporting on the results of the 2022 Federal Assembly Election.
Hello.
First, we'll go through a little bit of commentary before releasing the results republic-wide, as well as the results for the national lists. A bit of reminder, after passing a Senate motion and then passing it through the Federal Assembly, and after President Silas approved it, we began elections for the Federal Assembly about a month ago. Now, the candidates have had about a month of preparation for their candidacies, and while the election was a little late, it lasted just over 24 hours, and we're expecting high turnout and a good result for the Workers' Party. Now, the first results from Elections Excelsior are expected to be released within the next hour, and full results are expected to be released by the hour. The Workers' Party is favored to win the Riel Islands, Goose Island, and Grangia. Alright. The election will result in one seat being added to the Federal Assembly, bringing the total seat count to 15 seats. This we can project after information from Elections Excelsior about the official results. Before the election, the Federal Assembly had 14 seats. It is expected to now be raised to 15. As you can see, this is the current makeup of the Federal Assembly, and this is how many seats it will have after the election. As for the party makeup of the Federal Assembly, we still don't know. Silas, do you have any comments on this being the seat count being raised to 15, and how do you think it'll impact the? Is this telling of any results?
I think it's good. I think it's good for the Federal Assembly because that means that there are no cases of ties. It means that they will never run into any problems. Democracy can't not be fragile, and I think 15 seat count is the perfect place to put it.
All right. The ENNC is now predicting gains to the Workers' Party, and we expect the Democrats' seat count to stay the same. This is our prediction as of now. We expect the Democrats to get somewhere between 6 and 8 seats, most likely 7, and the Workers' Party to get between 6 and 8 seats, most likely 7, and for the Communist Party of Dave to get 1 seat, making it the deciding seat in the Federal Assembly. Remember, these are not the official results. They're just our predictions, and it could easily be changed as the results come in. The first results have been released from Elections Excelsior on turnout. Stand by for turnout results. And we can now project that there has been 41.27% voter turnout with 33 votes cast. This is moderately high turnout. After all, this is out of about 80 citizens. Silas, do you have any comments on this?
I think it's pretty much to be expected. The Workers' Party usually votes in force in every election, whereas with these smaller elections, usually anything but the main election of the year, the presidential, chancellorial, and the elections for the court, usually the Democratic Party only really has time to swing their weight around those elections because it takes time to gather the Democratic Party support, most of which is off Discord. So I think it makes sense that only 33 votes got cast. That's just the majority of the Workers' Party and some of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and I don't think it's telling of any specific results. I mean, this was close to the turnout for the last presidential election, and this is the usual turnout for Excelsioran elections, somewhere in the 40s in percent of the turnout. We will now go to the official results for the national list election section of this election. As many of you may remember, the national, we introduced national lists this election, which means that 3 of the 15 seats out of the Federal Assembly will be elected nationally on open party lists. We are expecting the Workers' Party to win 2 of these 3 national seats and the Democratic Party to win 1. We will now see if that is true. Will the Democratic Party hold the Federal Assembly? Will the Workers' Party take it from them? And will the Communist Dave Party emerge victorious despite the ENNC projecting it'll only get 1 seat? We will find out all this and more after the countdown to the 3 national seats and their results. And we can now project the official results for the Federal Assembly election for the 3 national seats. The Democratic Party of Excelsior has won 54.5% of the vote, the Workers' Party of Excelsior 33.3% of the vote, and the Communist Party of Dave 12.1% of the vote. This brings us to a seat count for the national seats of 1 seat for the Workers' Party, 2 seats for the Democratic Party, and 0 seats for the Communist Party of Dave. Connor Hetner has been elected as the 1 Workers' Party candidate for the 1 Workers' Party seat. Dante Winchester Thanos has been elected as the 1st Democratic Party national seat. And Harold R. has been elected as the 2nd Democratic Party national seat. The Democratic Party has defied all predictions in a massive upset, winning 2 seats, while the Workers' Party loses a seat, and incumbent Emerson Lee loses seat to freshman Representative Harold R. Silas, any comments on this stunning victory?
Well, I think we managed to swing our weight behind it. We do have strength in numbers, though we may not have as many active citizens, and I feel like people seem to forget in day-to-day life in Excelsior how much of a majority we really have. So, honestly, I'm not that surprised.
Well, I, for one, am surprised. All of our predictions showed a Workers' Party advantage. After all, this is a more common election than something like a presidential election. And in these shorter elections, it's usually very hard for the Democratic Party to get out its full turnout. But they have shown that it's possible for them to get out their full turnout in smaller elections. And I think that this could be a telling sign. The Democratic Party will hold the Federal Assembly as we look at the elections in the individual republics, and could hold the Federal Assembly for the next few months. Now, the Grangian election results are expected in 10 seconds. These are the results from the Grangian Republic of Excelsior for their local election for their 3 representatives. And the ENNC can now project that Nicholas Wiedemann, Leo Wiedemann, and Addison Dillon have been elected the 3 representatives, all re-elected, for Grangia. And remember, the percents on the screen are just the percentage of voters who selected this candidate as one of their 3 chosen candidates, as all voters were allowed to select 3 candidates out of these 4. And Wyatt Beck has lost, with 50% of voters selecting him as one of their 3 candidates. This is unsurprising. Wyatt's party, the Libertarian Conservative Party, is highly unpopular in Excelsior and very unpopular in Grangia as well. And the 3 who were elected, Nico, Leo, and Addison, were all expected to be re-elected as they are the incumbents, and are all from the Workers' Party, which has a very strong hold on Grangia. This gives the Workers' Party a 3-seat gain, and so they now have 4 seats currently elected as per these results. Do you have any comments on this, Silas? I think this isn't a very stunning victory. This is something we all expected. Yeah,
it's pretty obvious. I mean, Wyatt is probably, I hate to say it, one of the most universally hated politicians in all of Excelsior, so not too surprising.
Well, after the Workers' Party has swept the board in Grangia, the seat count still remains the same for them in Grangia. The Goose Island results are expected in 10 seconds. This is between incumbent Premier and Representative August Hoyt and Joe Terrones, a new citizen to Excelsior and to Goose Island. And we can now project that no candidate has been elected, with each candidate receiving 50% of the vote. There is a tie between August Hoyt and Joe Terrones, and we can confirm that a runoff will be needed. However, as they are both members of the Workers' Party, this is a guaranteed 1-seat gain for the Workers' Party. This is actually quite surprising. Most people would think that Gus, as the founder of Goose Island and its current premier, would be immensely popular in Goose Island, and he is, according to polling. He's highly expected to win the gubernatorial election in Goose Island, and I am very surprised by this result, with him only receiving 50% of the vote. Do you have any comments on that, Silas?
Honestly, I'm not too surprised. I think Gus has sort of failed to capture the attention of new citizens to Goose Island. His views have not really changed. While that is something that gains him a very solid voter base, one of the most solid voter bases in all of Excelsior, it also means that he struggles to capture the attention of new citizens. So I think this is about to be expected. I think he'll end up winning, but it'll be close.
Alright, well, with the runoff needed in Goose Island, we are now expecting the results from the Riel Islands in 10 seconds. And we can now project that Benjamin Pickles has been re-elected as the representative from the Riel Islands with 100% of the vote. His opponent, Ron Shkalastra, did not even vote for himself. Ben has received 2 votes and 100% of the vote.
Well, I'd like to point out that
and this is a 1-seat gain for the Workers' Party.
his opponent didn't even vote at all. Didn't even bother to turn up, so honestly, not too surprising of a win.
Ben is highly popular in the Riel Islands, although the Riel Islands is mostly composed of inactive citizens. Even then, he's still pretty popular, and there haven't been really many high-profile challengers to his premiership or his status as a representative. After the Workers' Party has won the Riel Islands, we will now go to Dave, whose results are expected in 10 seconds. This is a three-way race in Dave between incumbent Jasper S., Alice Kerfrey, and POT of the Drain. And we can now project that Jasper Smith has been re-elected representative for Dave with 100% of the vote. And this is a 1-seat gain, and the first seat gained in this election for the Communist Party of Dave. This was pretty expected, but Silas, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, not really too surprising. I mean, we both got to look through the election results, and I believe all the other candidates voted for Jasper. Dave is one of those few parties that doesn't really have much infighting. They have few members to work with, so they all usually unite behind a common goal, one of their biggest strengths. I think it's pretty expected that Jasper got so much.
Alright. We now go to Invictus for the 6 representatives chosen by the Invictus Council. And we can now project that Silas Warnbosch, Andrew Brotherton, and Lola Granger have been selected as representatives. And we can now project that Chet Chetman, Dylan Y, and Rand H have been selected as representatives. That makes 6 representatives for Invictus, again selected by the Invictus Council. Silas is premier of Invictus and the leader of the Invictus Council. What are your comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty easy decision for the Invictus Council. We went through all the people. We took people who have shown leadership skills in the different groups within Invictus, the different population groups. Dylan specifically has been a very good figure within Invictus and has caused a lot of activity, as he's very good at connecting to other citizens, and his right-hand man, Rand, is another good choice.
Alright. All results have now been broadcast, and we will go to the final seat count for the Federal Assembly. Again, this is the final seat count and the final results of this election. Will the Democrats control the Federal Assembly? And we can now project that the Workers' Party has won 6 seats, the Democratic Party has won 8 seats, a full majority, the Communist Party of Dave has won 1 seat, and and the Libertarian Conservative Party has won 0 seats. We can project that the Democratic Party will control and maintain a majority of the Federal Assembly. This is quite surprising. We expected there to at least be a tie, with the Democrats having an outright majority in the Federal Assembly and complete control over it. They now have control over most of the legislative process. Do you have any comments on this, Silas?
Not really, no. This is, pretty expected. I mean, at least from a Democratic Party point of view, we had plans. We had put in a lot of prep work to make this quick rallying of support happen. It took a lot of work. It took a lot more than usual. And it took some serious planning, but yeah, we managed to make it happen. I'm happy that we managed to make it happen. Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Live from the ENNC, this is Nicholas Wiedemann and Silas Warnbosch. The results have now been broadcast. If you're a member of the Democratic Party, you can celebrate, and all other parties, you can work towards winning your victory in the next election. And so, live from the ENNC, we say goodbye. This is the end of the stream, and thank you for watching.